The Cabal. The Cabal slithered into Marvel's darkest corners in 2008, a chilling creation of Norman Osborn during the Dark Reign storyline, first appearing in Secret Invasion number 8. This group was a twisted reflection of the Illuminati, a cabal of power-hungry masterminds manipulating global events from the shadows with ruthless precision. Osborn, the former Green Goblin turned HAMMER director, assembled this alliance to consolidate his control after the Skrull invasion shattered public trust in heroes. The roster was a nightmare of intellect and ambition. Dr. Doom, Latveria's dictator with unmatched scientific genius and a thirst for supremacy. Loki, the Asgardian god of mischief, weaving chaos with his sorcery. Emma Frost, a telepathic mutant playing both sides for mutant kind's survival. Namor, the Atlantean king whose loyalty shifted with the tides. And the Hood, a crime lord empowered by dark mystical forces. What made the Cabal so terrifying was their combined brilliance. Each member a strategist, magician, or megalomaniac capable of toppling nations. They operated as an Illuminati inverse, pulling the strings of world governments, orchestrating crises to tighten Osborn's grip. Their meetings, often held in secret lairs like Doom's castle, were tense power plays with each member pursuing their own agenda. Doom sought global domination, Loki craved chaos, and Namor played for Atlantis' gain. This made the Cabal wildly unstable, a powder keg waiting to explode. Their unpredictability was their strength and downfall. Namor's betrayal during Dark Reign to side with the X-Men, and Doom's inevitable clash with Osborn fractured the group. The Cabal's influence during this era was staggering, manipulating events like the Siege of Asgard, leaving a trail of destruction. They briefly reformed in later storylines like Time Runs Out, with Namor leading a new version alongside Thanos to stop universe-destroying incursions. But their moral ambiguity remained. The Cabal's legacy is a haunting reminder of how power corrupts even the mightiest alliances. A group where trust was a myth and betrayal a certainty. Their actions forced heroes to question the cost of victory, showing how villains could wield influence far beyond the battlefield. The Dark Avengers. The Dark Avengers stormed into Marvel Comics in 2009, born during the Dark Reign era, under the sinister leadership of Norman Osborn, who donned the Iron Patriot armor, a twisted blend of Iron Man's tech and Captain America's symbolism. First appearing in Dark Avengers number 1, this team was a corrupted parody of the Avengers. Assembled after Osborn took control of HAMMER, the rebranded as High-Eld, following the Skrull invasion's fallout. The roster was a gallery of sociopaths posing as heroes. Bullseye, a psychopathic marksman, masqueraded as Hawkeye with deadly precision. Daken, Wolverine's feral son, mimicked his father with claws and a vicious streak. Venom, aka Mac Gargan, posed as Spider-Man, his symbiote powers barely contained. Moonstone, a manipulative psychologist, imitated Ms. Marvel with her energy-wielding abilities. Alongside Sentry, a godlike hero with a fractured mind, and Ares, the war god, both manipulated by Osborn's promises. What made them terrifying was their deception. They replaced the real Avengers, fooling the public while committing atrocities under the guise of heroism. Bullseye's casual murders, Daken's bloodlust, and Venom's unhinged rampages turned every mission into a nightmare, their actions serving Osborn's dark agenda to control the world. They operated out of Avengers Tower, a cruel mockery of the heroes they impersonated, while secretly enforcing HAMMER's authoritarian grip. Their public facade as Earth's mightiest heroes clashed with their psychotic nature, creating a chilling dissonance. Fans cheered their heroics, while they orchestrated chaos like the Siege of Asgard, where they clashed with Thor's forces. The team's downfall came as Osborn's sanity unraveled, his paranoia and Sentry's instability leading to internal collapse during the Siege storyline in 2010. The true Avengers returned, exposing their deception. But the damage was done. Public trust in heroes took years to rebuild. The Dark Avengers briefly reformed in later comics, with new rosters under leaders like Luke Cage, but their original run remains the most infamous. They embodied corruption at its worst, a mirror showing how heroism could be weaponized for evil, leaving readers questioning the fine line between savior and tyrant. Their violent legacy still haunts Marvel's heroes, a grim reminder of what happens when power falls into the wrong hands. The Black Order. The Black Order, known as Thanos' children, emerged in 2013 during the Infinity storyline, a cadre of deadly aliens serving the Mad Titan's genocidal quest, first appearing in New Avengers #8. This terrifying group included Corvus Glaive, Thanos' right-hand man, immortal as long as his glaive remained intact, wielding it with lethal skill. Proxima Midnight, Corvus's wife, whose spear transformed into unavoidable beams of deadly light. Black Dwarf, later renamed Cull Obsidian, a hulking powerhouse with invulnerable skin. Ebony Maw, a manipulative genius who bent minds with his intellect and persuasion. And Supergiant, a psychic parasite who devoured intellects, though she appeared less frequently. Their fanatical loyalty to Thanos made them a cosmic nightmare. They'd razed entire planets, leaving trails of ash to prepare for his arrival, their efficiency unmatched. Each member's unique powers amplified their threat. Maw's psychological warfare broke wills. Proxima's combat prowess felled armies, and Black Dwarf's brute strength crushed resistance. During Infinity, they were dispatched to Earth to retrieve the Infinity Gems, clashing with the Avengers in battles that shook the planet. Proxima nearly killed Black Widow while Maw turned Doctor Strange into a pawn. Their presence in the MCU's Avengers Infinity War and Endgame brought their menace to a global audience, showcasing their brutal efficiency as they hunted the Infinity Stones, with moments like Corvus's ambush on Vision leaving fans on edge. The Black Order's loyalty to Thanos was unwavering, even in death. Corvus and Proxima fought to their last breath in Endgame. Their cosmic reign of terror spanned galaxies, making them one of Marvel's most feared factions, a testament to Thanos' unyielding will. Their downfall came at the Avengers' hands, but their legacy as harbingers of doom endures, a chilling reminder of the cost of facing a Titan's wrath. The Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts debuted in 1997 in Incredible Hulk number 449, a team of villains masquerading as heroes in a twisted scheme to seize power. Led by Baron Zemo, a strategic mastermind with a vendetta against the Avengers, the original lineup included Moonstone, a cunning psychologist with energy manipulation, Fixer, a tech genius crafting deadly gadgets, Beetle, later Mach Y, a mercenary in armored suits, and Screaming Mimi, who became Songbird with sonic powers that could shatter steel. Their terrifying deception came after the Avengers were presumed dead during the Onslaught event. Zemo's team posed as heroes, gaining public trust while secretly planning to betray the world for control. They operated out of a high-tech base, their heroic acts carefully staged, like saving cities from disasters they'd orchestrated. Moonstone's manipulation of the media and Zemo's ruthless leadership made them a convincing facade, but their true nature, violent, selfish, and power-hungry, kept slipping through. The team's dynamic shifted as some members, like Songbird, grappled with redemption, eventually turning against Zemo. Later versions of the Thunderbolts, like those with Deadpool and Punisher, leaned into moral ambiguity, blending heroism with their criminal roots. Deadpool's chaotic humor clashed with Punisher's lethal justice, creating unpredictable missions. They once infiltrated Eld, nearly toppling it from within, a testament to their cunning. Their initial run ended when the Avengers returned, exposing Zemo's plot, but the Thunderbolts' legacy evolved, with later teams under leaders like Luke Cage walking a finer line between good and evil. This group's ability to manipulate trust made them a unique threat, a wolf in sheep's clothing that could save the day or burn it down, leaving heroes and readers alike questioning their true motives. The Sinister Six. The Sinister Six, Spider-Man's deadliest collective, first assembled in 1964 in The Amazing Spider-Man Annual Number 1, a brainchild of Dr. Octopus to crush their mutual foe. The original roster was a murderer's row Doc Ock, a genius with mechanical tentacles; Vulture, an aerial predator with a winged suit; Electro, a living conduit of electricity; Mysterio, a master of illusions; Kraven the Hunter, a tracker obsessed with the ultimate hunt; and Sandman, a shapeshifter of living sand. Individually, they were dangerous. Together, they were a nightmare, nearly killing Spider-Man multiple times through coordinated gauntlet attacks designed to wear him down. Their plan was brutal but simple. Each villain took a turn, from Electro's lightning storms to Mysterio's disorienting tricks, culminating in Doc Ock's final strike. Their teamwork, though often fractured by egos, Kraven's pride clashed with Ock's control, made them a persistent threat. Modern incarnations grew even deadlier, adding ultra-violent members like Venom, with his symbiote savagery, and Carnage, a psychopathic killer, in teams like the Sinister Syndicate. They once held New York hostage, demanding ransom while Spider-Man fought for his life, his webbing barely holding against their onslaught. The group's roster shifted over decades, with villains like Rhino and Hobgoblin joining, but their goal remained the same: eliminate Spider-Man and dominate the criminal underworld. Their appearances in Spider-Man cartoons and games like the Spider-Man Web of Shadows game cemented their iconic status, showcasing their relentless pursuit. The Sinister Six's enduring menace lies in their numbers. Spider-Man's resilience was pushed to the brink, proving that even a lone hero can't withstand a united front forever. Their legacy is a stark reminder of the power of collective evil, a gauntlet that tests the web-slinger's every limit. The Masters of Evil. The Masters of Evil, one of Marvel's earliest supervillain teams, reached their brutal peak in 1987 during the Under Siege arc in Avengers number 270-277, led by Baron Zemo, a Nazi strategist with a vendetta against Captain America. This massive incarnation was a wrecking ball of villainy. Goliath, a towering giant who could crush buildings; Mr. Hyde, a monstrous brute with superhuman strength; the Wrecking Crew, a quartet of enchanted demolition experts; Tiger Shark, a feral aquatic predator; and Absorbing Man, who could mimic any material he touched. Their terrifying assault saw them invade Avengers Mansion, a sacred space for Earth's mightiest, in a calculated siege that left the team broken. They nearly beat Captain America to death, his shield barely holding against Goliath's fists, while Mr. Hyde tortured the butler Jarvis, leaving him bloodied as a message. The mansion was reduced to rubble, a symbolic gut punch to the Avengers' legacy. Zemo's strategy was psychological as much as physical. He wanted to dismantle the hero's spirit, proving their vulnerability to the world. The Avengers, led by Thor and Wasp, fought back in a desperate counterattack, but the scars of Under Siege lingered. Hercules was left in a coma, and the team's confidence was shattered. The Masters of Evil had been around since 1964, formed by Zemo's father Heinrich to counter the Avengers, but this iteration was their most devastating, a testament to their raw brutality. Later versions under leaders like Ultron and Helmut Zemo continued their legacy, but Under Siege remains their darkest hour, a moment where evil truly triumphed, if only briefly. Their savage victory redefined the stakes for the Avengers, showing how close heroes can come to utter defeat. The Hellfire Club. The Hellfire Club, a cabal of wealthy manipulators, emerged in 1980 as X-Men adversaries in Uncanny X-Men number 129. Their inner circle a sinister force of power and corruption. Led by Sebastian Shaw, a mutant who absorbed kinetic energy to enhance his strength, the group included Emma Frost, a telepath with a knack for betrayal; Donald Pierce, a cyborg with anti-mutant zeal; and Mastermind, an illusionist who warped minds. They weren't just muscle, They thrived on corruption, mental domination, and political schemes, operating from opulent mansions filled with decadence and secrets. Their terrifying influence came from their ability to manipulate on a global scale, using wealth to bend governments and telepathy to control minds. Their darkest moment was orchestrating Jean Grey's fall in the Dark Phoenix saga. Mastermind's illusions pushed her into becoming the Black Queen, unleashing the Phoenix's destructive power, a tragedy that cost countless lives and haunted the X-Men for decades. The club's hierarchy, styled after chess pieces with titles like Black King and White Queen, reflected their strategic mindset. Shaw's ambition for mutant supremacy clashed with Frost's shifting loyalties, creating a tense dynamic. They once funded anti-mutant initiatives while posing as philanthropists, a duality that made them untouchable for years. Their influence stretched beyond physical battles, shaping global events through corporate takeovers and political blackmail, a haunting shadow over the mutant world. Appearances in X-Men, First Class, and animated series highlighted their aristocratic menace, blending historical corruption with mutant power. The Hellfire Club's legacy is one of insidious control, proving that the most dangerous threats often wear a smile and a tailored suit, striking at the heart of heroism through betrayal and manipulation. The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. The Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, a ruthless mutant faction, emerged in 1964 within X-Men #4, forged by Magneto, a magnetic mastermind whose belief in mutant supremacy fueled their violent crusade. This group was a storm of power and ideology led by Magneto, who could manipulate metal fields with devastating force, commanding loyalty with his vision of mutants inheriting the Earth. The roster overflowed with lethal potential. Mystique, a shapeshifter who mimicked anyone with chilling precision. Toad, a grotesque acrobat with a prehensile tongue and agility to match. And initially, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, Magneto's children wielding reality-altering powers and super speed, though they later defected to the Avengers. Their terrifying mission was rooted in domination. They'd attack human strongholds, leaving chaos in their wake, often targeting mutant sympathizers to enforce their rule. The Brotherhood were outcasts turned warriors. Their hatred for humanity drove them to ally with anti-mutant forces. Their abilities, sharpened by years of survival, made them elusive predators, especially Mystique's disguises and Toad's agile strikes. They once ambushed the X-Men in a European hideout, chaining Professor X in a magnetic trap, a moment of raw cruelty that tested the team's resolve. Their cult status grew with their role in X-Men. Evolution and comics like House of M, where Magneto's schemes reshaped reality, showcasing their relentless nature. Quicksilver's betrayal added a personal sting. The group's vendetta was personal. Magneto's Holocaust scars fueled his extremism, pushing Mystique to obsessive plots against Charles Xavier. The Brotherhood's legacy is one of unyielding radicalization, a mirror to the prejudice they faced. Their mutant might a nightmare for any human or mutant daring to oppose them. They embodied a darker vision of mutant power, a warning of how the fight for freedom can slip into tyranny. Weapon X. Weapon Plus, later known as Weapon X, is a shadowy military program with a horrifying legacy. First hinted at in 1945, but fully explored in Marvel Comics Presents #72 in 1991. This sinister operation birthed living weapons through genetic experiments, torture, and brainwashing, creating killers like Wolverine, whose adamantium skeleton and claws were forged in their labs, Phantom X, a super soldier with multiple brains, and Weapon H, a monstrous hybrid of Hulk and Wolverine DNA. Their terrifying methods involved abducting subjects, often mutants or soldiers, erasing their identities through memory implants, and subjecting them to agonizing procedures like bonding adamantium to Wolverine's bones while he screamed in torment. The program's origins tied to World War II, evolving into Weapon X by the Cold War, aimed to craft the ultimate weapon for global control, often working with shadowy government factions. They operated in hidden facilities, like the Alberta base where Logan was experimented on, leaving a trail of broken lives. Deadpool's healing factor came at the cost of his sanity, a side effect of their reckless science. Their influence looms over X-Men comics, with figures like William Stryker using their tech to fuel anti-mutant crusades, and their experiments birthing threats like X-23 Laura Kinney. The program's reach extended to other subjects like Sabretooth, whose feral nature was amplified by their tampering. Weapon X's legacy is one of ethical horror, a stark reminder of humanity's capacity to exploit the living for power, their shadow haunting every mutant touched by their cold, clinical hands. Their creations often turned against them, but the scars they left, physical and mental, never fully healed. The Serpent Society. The Serpent Society, a lesser-known but persistent threat, slithered into Marvel in 1980 in Captain America No. 310, a mafia of snake-themed villains with a knack for organized crime. Led by Sidewinder, a teleporter who could vanish in a blink, the group included Anaconda, a constricting powerhouse with steel-crushing arms, Bushmaster, a venomous brawler with a bionic tail, Cobra, a contortionist who could slip through any gap, and Viper, a toxic strategist whose poisons could kill in seconds. Their terrifying efficiency came from their structure. They operated like a syndicate, taking contracts for political assassinations, corporate espionage, and government infiltration, often targeting Captain America. They once poisoned a city's water supply, holding it ransom for millions, a scheme that nearly succeeded if not for Cap's intervention. Their serpentine motif wasn't just flair, it mirrored their resilience. Sidewinder's motto, "Strike and slither away," ensured they'd return stronger after every defeat, much like Hydra's Hydra heads. The Society's members were mercenaries, loyal to money over ideology, which made them unpredictable. They'd work for AIM one day, the Red Skull the next. Viper's leadership in later years turned them deadlier, her extremist vision pushing for global chaos through biochemical attacks. They clashed with the X-Men, Avengers, and even Spider-Man, their venomous strikes leaving lasting damage. Bushmaster once paralyzed a child agent for life. The Serpent Society's legacy is one of cold, calculated evil, a reminder that the quietest snakes often carry the deadliest bite. Their organized menace a persistent thorn in Marvel's heroic landscape. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed diving into Marvel's darkest villain teams, drop a like, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments which group you think is the most terrifying. See you in the next one.